WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 11.
Major changes at the highest level of government. Mike Waltz is out as National Security Advisor. It's our top story tonight at 11. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Siobhan Klepper. The White House says Waltz will continue to serve in the Trump administration as the new nominee to the ambassador to the United Nations.
The role of the National Security Advisor will go to Marco Rubio, who's already serving as Secretary of State, acting National Archivist, and USAID Administrator.
Erica Brown has the latest.
President Trump delivered remarks to the graduating class of 2025 Thursday night at the University of Alabama.
Everywhere you look, broken systems, corrupt institutions, and tired dogmas are being swept away by the tide of history. Ancient wisdom is being rediscovered, and the best and strongest traits of America are coming back for all to see, bigger, better, and greater than ever.
Trump's speech follows a major shakeup at the White House. President Trump's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is leaving his role, but the president announced plans to nominate him as U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. President Trump said Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be interim National Security Advisor. The change comes as the administration facilitates peace talks with Russia and Ukraine.
Unbelievable, Marco. When I have a problem, I call up Marco. He gets it solved. He gets it solved.
The shakeup comes weeks after Waltz inadvertently included a journalist on a messaging group chat with ranking officials who discussed a military operation against the Houthis in Yemen. The leak sparked backlash from members of Congress, and Thursday demonstrators rallied nationwide for May Day, protesting Trump's agenda. Senator Bernie Sanders spoke in Philadelphia.
Donald Trump has made it very clear what we are talking about when we talk about oligarchy.
The Trump administration also asked the Supreme Court Thursday to put a hold on temporary legal protections for 350,000 Venezuelans now in the U.S. to clear a path for deportations. The protections were set to expire in April, but a federal judge ordered a pause on those plans. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Turning to Michigan politics, the State House did not pass a joint resolution that would have increased identification requirements to participate in elections.
Under House Joint Resolution B, you would have needed proof of citizenship to register to vote and a photo ID when you actually cast your ballot.
Supporters say this would be an opportunity for Michigan to lead the nation with greater election security. But opponents argue more than 9% of American citizens do not have easy access to their proof of citizenship, and non-citizen voting is extremely rare. The joint resolution got support from more than half of the State House, but less than the 2/3 needed for a constitutional amendment.
But the State House did pass 5 bills designed to block sanctuary city laws and services for undocumented immigrants. Under these bills, local governments would not be allowed to enact or enforce any rules that prevent police officers from cooperating with federal immigration authorities. If they do, individual members of the community could sue for damages. Those bills now go to the state Senate.
And speaking of the state Senate, 2 state senators, a Democrat and a Republican, have introduced a bill that would make the Michigan Recreation Passport mandatory whenever you renew your vehicle's registration. Right now, drivers can opt into that $10 fee, which provides access to all state parks, recreation areas, boat launches, campgrounds, and trails. Under this bill, that cost would simply be added to the registration fee. The bill was sent to the State Senate Committee on Appropriations.
And speaking of cars, General Motors says it expects to take a hit to its profits in 2025 to the tune of $5 billion.
Gabby Luma from our CBS affiliate in South Bend reports this is due to the new tariffs and changes to the global auto market.
The impact tariffs are having on costs is slowly starting to be seen and felt, especially for goods coming from overseas and for car makers here in the U.S. But here in St. Joseph County near New Carlisle, officials say the GM battery plant remains unaffected for the most part. GM executives announcing the profit loss this morning as the world begins to grapple with the impact tariffs are making on the price of goods and materials. For the auto industry, one of the largest industries globally, experts predict tariffs will add thousands of dollars to the price of cars and trucks. But locally, St. Joseph County officials tell me though GM may be seeing the impact at a larger scale, near New Carlisle is a different story.
We're not seeing any hit on that at all at this point. Everything that we see is construction full go, and everything seems to be on track at this point in time. So the national news, international news doesn't seem to really be having an impact here.
Currently, Shalio tells me there have been some cost differentials, but nothing major. He adds there's potential for the tariffs to impact future production, but it's yet to be seen.
I think I would imagine at some point GM, Samsung are going to probably have some issues with some of the materials that they import to make the batteries, but they're a couple years away from making batteries, so maybe by then the tariff issue will resolve itself or lessen.
Building construction at this plant is still set to begin by the end of 2025 or the start of 2026.
And that was Gabby Luma reporting. Summer vacation is about to begin, and that means a lot of freedom for millions of teenagers. And that's why every year experts rank the safest vehicles to buy for newly licensed teen drivers. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety and Consumer Reports team up to release that study, highlighting cars that are both affordable and safe. The top choice for small cars was the Toyota Corolla, as far back as model 2017, which averages right around $9,500. Toyota also took the top spot for mid-sized cars, with the Camry 2018 or newer at just over $13,000. The top new vehicles were the Honda Civic, the Honda HR-V, the Honda Accord, and the GMC Acadia. For the full list, follow the link on the screen on the Scene on 6 section of WLNS.com.
Dozens of people gathered in Charlotte today as University of Michigan Health Sparrow cut the ribbon on a brand new facility. It's an oncology and infusion center designed to make it easier for people in Eaton County to access advanced cancer care. But officials with Sparrow say this will have a big impact on health care for the community as a whole.
You know, in rural settings, you know, you may just have a primary care provider and a surgeon, but we have the capacity to build and grow and bring in so many specialty care to patients so they don't have to travel. So it's much more than we're here for access. We're here for a variety of different diseases and that we can treat.
The new center was funded in part with a grant from the state of Michigan and donations from the community.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, in between the showers and storms today, it was fairly nice, albeit a little bit humid out there, but it's that time of the year we get outside, enjoy the warm weather, and enjoy pictures like this. Our Pix on 6 winner today was Greg from Hazlitt, capturing a couple things, a beautiful sunset and also a bit of a sun pillar right in the middle of your screen, that little beam of light sticking up. A beautiful shot from Greg. We appreciate that. Our rainfall totals today topped out around ½ an inch for St. John's as well as Grand Ledge. Lesser amounts Lansing, Jackson, and Hillsdale, but still pretty respectable totals, with the least amount in Hillsdale at 0.19 of an inch. Over the next several days, our high temperature trend, we dip into the 50s for highs over the weekend on Saturday, but if we get enough sunshine, we could end up in the lower 60s. It does look very warm next week with highs each day in the mid 70s. Not a lot of humidity, should be really ideal out there beginning Monday and through the end of next week. So we look at Precision Cast. We'll take you through the overnight hours. One area of low pressure moving out. A little bit of an energy in the atmosphere could give us a shower or two tomorrow morning through around noon, and then lower rain chances as we wind out our Friday. Into Saturday is a system that has my attention to the south because it's going to push moisture in our direction. Odds are it will not make it here. For us, that just means probably a little more cloud cover than we'd like to see. And notice the clearing line is in the viewing area, so it wouldn't take much to get a little more sunshine in the central mid-Michigan. If you're traveling south into Ohio, there could be some pretty good rainfall, some locally heavy rain Saturday afternoon and into Saturday night. Nothing's really changed in terms of the overall outlook. We're looking out through May the 11th with above average temperatures across the northern tier of the U.S., below average across the desert southwest into portions of Texas. And we look at a little further out in time, the cooler air starts to spread a little bit further east with some wet weather and cloud cover. But for us, all the way out through the 15th of May, so middle of the month, we're still looking at above average temperatures. So once we get through this weekend, things really do start to improve in terms of those temperatures. A look at Precision Cast temps tonight through tomorrow morning. Now, it's a different story in the UP. Temps in the 30s tomorrow morning, while we're in the mid 40s to lower 50s. As we move through the afternoon hours, notice in the UP, 30s and 40s for highs. We'll be warm though. We'll climb into the lower 60s. Then as we move into the weekend, Saturday morning, we'll dip back in the mid 40s. Temperatures at or below freezing in the UP. It's still going to remain on the chilly side to our north, but we should be in the upper 50s, if not close to 60 degrees. So overall, not looking too bad. Tonight's forecast, expect a low down to 46 degrees with a couple showers, but not a whole lot of activity out there. Same thing for tomorrow, morning and noon, maybe a couple showers, but not a lot of coverage. Temperatures mid 50s at noon and lower 60s by 5 o'clock. The 6-day forecast, weekend, a little more cloud cover, temps in the 50s and 60s. Clouds break next week, and so do the temperatures into the 70s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Stays warm right through next weekend with a chance for a few showers both Saturday and Sunday.
The rain really came down hard earlier tonight. I got caught in it for a while.
Oh no. You look great though.
Well,
Doesn't look like, looks like you had an umbrella probably.
No, I
ready to
didn't.
go.
I just redid everything.
Oh, okay. Very good. Coming up tonight on 6 News at 11, lawmakers on Capitol Hill want to stop protecting an endangered species of fish to make it easier to access water out west. We're going to hear from both sides next.
That and much more straight ahead on 6 News at 11. Don't go away.